In this video, we are going to consider rearranging formulas, also known as changing the subject of a formula. Let's look at rearranging linear equations separated by plus or minus. For example, let's make x the subject in this equation. The first thing we are going to do is to isolate x on this side and y is on this side. We are going to move plus 7 out of this position, and if it crosses this equal sign, it becomes minus 7. When a variable having a negative moves across the equal sign, it will become plus. And if the variable is having plus and it moves across the equal sign, it will become a minus. This is a very important concept to always remember when solving linear equations. In this linear equation, let's make A the subject. To make A the subject, the first step is to move this u across the equal sign, and on this side u becomes a minus, and this is the equal sign, and we are left with a t. And because t is multiplying a, on the other side of the equal sign is going to divide. You can rearrange this as a is v minus u over t. These two are the same. This becomes our answer, making a the subject. Whenever you have a multiplying variable moves across the equal sign, it will divide. And whenever a dividing variable moves across the equal sign, it will multiply. This is also a very important concept to always remember when changing the subject of linear equations. In this question, let's make x the subject. I want to isolate x on this side, and here I got y. This 3 will move across the equal sign to divide because it is multiplying. We can also rearrange this as x is y over 3, and we can rearrange this as x is 1 over 3 multiplied by y. This, and this are all the same. Let's make x the subject here. My aim is to isolate x, but I will move this minus 1 across, and on the other side it becomes plus 1. Now I have 2x. Next, I will move 2 out of this position because I want to isolate only x. On this side I have y plus 1. 2 is multiplying x, and a multiplying variable will move across the equal sign and is going to divide. This becomes our answer. I can rewrite this as x is y plus 1 over 2. I can also rearrange this as x is 1 over 2 y plus 1. I'm going to put this in brackets because this is multiplying everything. This, and this are all the same thing. And this is our answer. Let's consider changing the subject of formulas with brackets and dividing variables. Let's make w the subject here. The first thing we're going to consider is the w we want to make the subject is at the denominator. we're going to take it up. There are many ways to do this. One method is, this is like over 1. If I flip this up to have 1 over t, I will do the same thing here by having 2w squared plus 3 over 7. This is one way of approaching this. Next, I will cross multiply. That is, 7 will multiply 1 and t will multiply everything here. I will have 7 to move across the equal sign and becomes times 1 over t. Now I have 2w squared plus 3. Next, I can have 7 over t on this side. 3 will move across and become minus 3. And now I'm left with 2w squared. Next, I want to make w the subject. On this side, I'm going to have w squared. On this side, I'm going to have 7 divided by t minus 3. The 2 is multiplying. These 2 will move across to divide. Now I have w squared. I can write this as 7 over t minus 3. Everything is dividing 2 is w squared. This can become 1 over 2, 7 over t minus 3 is w squared. To isolate w, I will have that w is 1 over 2, 7 divided by t minus 3 in bracket. Whenever squared moves across the equal sign, it will become a square root, and this becomes our answer, making w the subject. This is one way of approaching this. We can approach this in a different way by cross multiplying. This is like over 1. Hence, I'm going to have t in bracket 2w squared plus 3 will give you 7. Next, I will expand this bracket. This times this will give you 2t w squared plus 3t is equal 7. Next, the w is here. This will leave. I'm going to have 2t w squared is 7. This is plus. This will move across and become minus 3t. Next, I'm going to have w squared is 7 minus 3t divide 2t. I'm looking for just w. I'm going to have that w is, on this side I have 7 minus 3t all over 2t. I have a squared here. If squared leaves the equal sign, on the other side is going to be a square root. This becomes our answer. I can rearrange this to be w is 7 minus 3t divide 2t. And instead of this square root, I can put this in bracket to the power of 1 over 2. This and this are the same. Because in mathematics, the square root of 4 is the same thing as 4 to the power of 1 over 2 is the same thing as 2. The square root of 16 is the same thing as 16 to the power of 1 over 2 is 4. With this concept in mind, this becomes the subject in this equation. Let's make A the subject in this equation. I can rearrange this to be u is a plus k divided by 6. These are the same. Next, I will cross multiply because this is like over 1. 6 will multiply this, and you're going to have 6u. Next, 1 multiplies everything here. You have a plus k. My aim is to isolate a. Hence, k will move. On this side, I have 6u. If k moves across this equal sign, it becomes minus k. I can rearrange this to be a is 6u minus k. Both are the same. And this becomes our answer. Here, let's make h the subject. We can rearrange this as a is bh over 2. Both are the same because this is 1. Next, I will cross multiply because I want these two to leave. My aim is to isolate h. This is like over 1. If 2 moves across the equal sign, it's going to multiply because it's dividing. Now I have bh. Next, I want to leave h here. On this side, I'm going to have 2a. b is multiplying. If a multiplying variable moves across the equal sign, it's going to divide. I can rewrite this as h is 2a divide b. Or whether I leave it like this, or like this, or like this, all of them are the same thing. Let's make w the subject in this equation. Now, w is here and w is also here. What we're going to do is we're going to make this linear by taking a across the equal sign. And I'm going to have a to multiply w. It's going to multiply because it's dividing. On this side, I'm going to have w minus 7. My aim is to isolate w. W is here, which is a w. This w will move across the equal sign and become a minus. On the other side, I'm left with minus 7. Next, I will factorize w out of this expression. W is here and is also here and is common. I will bring out w. What will I write here? So that if I multiply it with this w, I will get aw. It is a minus. What will I put here? So that if I multiply it with this w, it will return this w. It is 1. And on this side, I have minus 7. My aim is to isolate this w. On this side, I have minus 7. This is multiplying w. Everything here will move across and is going to divide. And this becomes our answer, making w the subject here. Here, we want to make t the subject. Everything here is multiplying g. The first thing is to take this g over to the other side because it is free from this squared. I'm going to have L on this side. G is multiplying. On the other side is going to divide. Next, I'm going to have T over 2 pi. Everything to the power of 2. Next, I'm going to take this squared out of this side. And on the other side, this squared becomes a square root. Now, I have t free with 2 pi. Next, I want to isolate t. This 2 pi is dividing. On the other side, I'm going to have 2 pi multiplying this. And now t is isolated. And this becomes our answer. I can rewrite this to be 2 pi multiplying L over G, all to the power of 1 over 2. This can also be our answer, because the square root of L over G is the same thing as L over G to the power of 1 over 2. We have made T the subject in this given equation. Let's make R the subject in this equation. Here we're going to have 360b, because 360 is dividing. On the other side is going to multiply. Now we have pi h r squared. I have 360b on this side. Pi and h will leave because I want to isolate r. Both are multiplying r. On the other side, they will divide. Next, I need only r. Here I have 360b divide pi h. But this r got squared. On the other side, this will become square root. And this becomes our answer. Let's make n the subject here. P will leave first because I want this bracket to be open. Hence, I'm going to have A divided by P because P is multiplying. If a multiplying variable moves across the equal sign, it will divide. Now, I have this is free. My aim is to isolate n. On this side, I'm going to have A over P. 1 will move and becomes minus 1. And I have n, r is free. I want to isolate n. Hence, I'm going to have n here. And on this side, I have A over P minus 1. If r moves across the equal sign, it's going to divide. Hence, r will divide everything here. And this becomes our answer. We can rearrange this to be 1 over r, A over P minus 1 in brackets. This and this are the same. And this becomes our answer. Let's make x the subject in this equation. The first step is to cross multiply. That is, everything here will multiply this, and this at the denominator will multiply this by cross multiplication. That is, this will become m to multiply 3x plus 1 and n to multiply x plus 1. Next, we're going to expand this bracket, and here I'm going to have m multiply 3x. I will have 3mx plus m multiply 1. I'm going to have m. On this side, n will multiply x. I will have nx plus n will multiply 1. I will have n. My aim is to isolate x. I'm going to bring all the x to one side. I'm going to have 3mx. Nx will move and becomes minus nx. On the other side, I have n. M is plus. It will move across the equal sign to become minus. Next, I have x here and x is common. I'll open the bracket. 3m will multiply x and I will get 3mx minus, I'm going to put a variable here. If it multiplies x, I will have nx. It's going to be n. On the other side, I got n minus m. Next, I need only x. I'm going to have x here. On the other side, I have n minus m. 3m minus n is multiplying. If a multiplying variable moves across the equal sign, it's going to divide. I have isolated x. That is my aim. And this becomes my answer. We're going to make x the subject in this equation. The first thing we're going to do is to expand this bracket. That is, this will multiply this. I'm going to have 2 over 3x. This multiply this. I'm going to have minus this times this will give you 6 divided by 3. I've opened this bracket. Next, 3 over 5 multiplied by x. I'm going to have 3x over 5. Next, 3 over 5 multiplied by minus 2. This times this will give you 6 over 5. I've expanded this bracket. Next, my aim is to isolate x. This 2 over 3x will be on this side. This 3x over 5 will move across and become minus 3x over 5. This is the equal sign. On this side, I got minus 6 over 5. This is minus 6 over 3, which is 2. On the other side, it becomes plus 6 over 3. X is common on both sides. I will bring x out. And here I'm left with 2 over 3. Minus here, I'm left with 3 over 5. On this side, I have minus 6 over 5 plus 2. Next, this is x. In this bracket, 5 multiplied by 2 will give you 10. And this is a minus. 3 multiplied by 3 will give you 9. Next, 3 multiplied by 5 will give you 15. On this side, this is like over 1. 1 multiply minus 6. I'm going to get minus 6. And I have a plus. 5 multiplied by 2 will give you 10. At the denominator, 5 will multiply by 1, and I'm going to have 5. Remember, in the rule, we must move like this first, then this direction, and finally this direction at the denominator. This goes like this first, followed by this, then the denominator will multiply. And that is what we have applied here. I'm going to have that x is, this is 1 over 15. And here we got 4 over 5. This is like x divided by 15 is 4 over 5. And here is x is, we have isolated x. This is 4 over 5. 15 is dividing. On the other side, it will multiply. 5 here is 1, and 5 here is 3. X is now 4 times 3. And our x is 12. And this is our answer. We have made x the subject in this equation.